So we're going to talk about the epidemiology of neck and shoulder pain. For the neck, it's really interesting that it's very common for people over the age of 60 to experience neck and shoulder pain, neck pain. In fact, over 85% of people over the age of 60 experience what's called cervical spondylosis, which is the common term is disc degeneration of the neck. So if you've gone to your physician and told you have degenerative disc disease or disc degeneration, then that's what he or she is talking about. Now, this may or may not cause pain. Many people can have cervical spondylosis and experience no pain for all their life, whereas other people may have it and they have some pain and or discomfort from it. Now, approximately 10% of just the general population, of any age, are affected by neck pain just at any given time. As far as shoulder pain goes, fewer people are affected by it. Only about 37% of people age 65 and older experience shoulder pain. And that is most often experienced as bursitis of the shoulder or rotator cuff injuries. And many of you may be already nodding, saying, yep, I've had the shoulder rotator cuff pain or injury. All right, so then medications. This is, again, now I'm not a doctor, of course. I cannot prescribe medications, so you would have to check with your doctor. And of course, I'm sure you know this already, but the NSAIDs, non-steroidal drugs, ibuprofen, Aleve, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of the other one, Motrin, the standard names, all can relieve neck pain by reducing inflammation. But if you are on any kind of blood thinning medication, then you cannot take any kind of anti-inflammatories in addition to that. So you have to check with your doctor about taking any kind of anti-inflammatory over-the-counter medicine. Tylenol can help, but again, ask your doctor. I'm not prescribing. I have to say that right now, but it can help. Now for shoulder, especially for shoulder bursitis and possibly for the rotator cuff injuries, cortisone injections can help, but you do have to be careful with cortisone. It is a powerful steroid. It can cause breakdown of the joint. It also can cause thinning of the bones. If you have osteoporosis, it's contraindicated, so you have to be very careful with that. And you can only have 3 cortisone injections a year. That being said, it can be very helpful for a lot of shoulder injuries. A lot of times, 1 cortisone shot in your shoulder, you're good to go, and that's that. So, if your doctor says, hey, this is bursitis and I recommend a cortisone shot, I think you'll be okay, then that might be the way to go. So, a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't know, I've heard so many bad things about cortisone. And yeah, it's a powerful drug and it can be very effective for shoulders. So you kind of have to weigh that one. So let's talk about prevention of neck and shoulder pain. We talked about practicing good posture. So I have some tips for you for practicing good posture. Of course, it's easy to say, sit and stand tall, pay attention during the day. Yeah, we know that. But if you can come up with a cue or two, some kind of reminder that happens throughout the day. Like for me, this was, oh gosh, I don't know how many years ago. I'm not even going to count, but a long time ago. And I was in a postural training workshop, and it was one of the suggestions was every time you go through a doorway, you check in with your posture, because how many doorways do you go through at home, out and about, at work? There are always doorways. So it helps. It really does. It got me in the habit of checking my posture. And even when I know how good posture is, I give seminars on posture alone. I still find myself, I've gotten better, but I still have to check my posture. So I go through a doorway, and I still do the posture check. And that has helped me through time to just check in more, even without the doorway. So if you can find a memory cue that happens throughout the day, some people use a smartphone. Like, oh, every time I check my phone or the phone rings, oh, posture. Speaking of the smartphone, another tip is bring your phone up to eye level. There is a phenomenon that doctors are seeing now that they're calling text neck because of this. Looking down, I get farther away a little bit because of this, right? Always down, you're flipping through your screen. So, and it's causing this forward head tilt. And we can't, especially if you have neck and shoulder pain, that's going to exacerbate it, but it can actually cause it. So, and I do this if I'm at a doctor's office the other day and I had to wait, get out of this, and resting my elbow on the chair, and I can do my scrolling, I can text, but I brought it up to eye level, and it just really does make a big difference. Same thing with your computer. If you have a desktop, this is a lot easier than if you have a laptop like I do. But if you bring your computer, if you can adjust it so that it's at eye level, and they do make tabletop or desktop adjusters, you can set your computer on it. I got one for $20, so not very expensive. And then if your keyboard can be down, lower, so that your eyes are looking at your computer so you can sit in good posture. I've got mine because it's a laptop and I can't have my hands up like this to type, but I do sit looking down like this at my computer, and I've gotten pretty good at not coming forward like this. So just find what works for you, but that is a really good tip for prevention, is trying to bring your computer up at eye level. Watching TV, we do tend to come back and slouch like that. That's really hard on the neck and the shoulder. If you can get yourself, some thoracic support behind your upper back and a little bit behind your cervical spine. So either if you're upright or if you are back in, a recliner or your couch, you've got some neck support and upper back support. So you can still be comfortable, you can still relax, you can still have your legs out, but you're supporting good posture as opposed to slouching like this, because all of that is going to exacerbate any issues, and we want to be preventing issues. So we talked about the cell phone. Women, but men, if you have a career type bag, carry a light. Make sure your purse is lightweight. If you're carrying a heavy bag and you've got it on your shoulder, then you have to do this. And that is a big cause of neck and shoulder pain right there, because you're contracting your muscles, you're carrying, it could be 5 pounds, 10 pounds. You've got a computer in there, you've got, all kinds of stuff you're carrying around. So if you can lighten it, or maybe break it down into 2 bags, or at least do the cross body strap. Get the longer strap and bring it across here, because that will distribute the weight evenly from your shoulder across your chest, and you're much stronger through your chest than you are just on your shoulder, and that can prevent shoulder pain, and it also can relieve shoulder pain, and especially if you have it like chronically on one side, switch to the other side and bring the strap across to the other side. Okay, the exercises for prevention. Work on your flexibility, your strength. We're going to do that. when you're sitting. Now, a lot of studies have come out about how hard sitting is on our bodies in general, but it's also just hard on your neck and shoulders. Get up often and walk around. It's recommended to get up every 20 or 30 minutes. Even if you just get up, here we are sitting, we've been sitting, oh my goodness, we've been sitting for 40 minutes. So we're gonna, everybody just get up for a minute, walk around. Just for about 15 seconds. Just walk around, swing your arms, move your neck. Because here I am giving a webinar, talking about you got to get get up and walk around, and then I'm having you sit for way too long. So if you can just walk around, even if it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, we'll sit back down. Now I couldn't see you there, so I don't know if you did or not, because I'm on my my PowerPoint slide, but hopefully you did. It's a
Hey,
blue.
Carrie.
Yep.
In the chat box, somebody said that there's, apps for your phones and all that can remind you, set reminders for you also to adjust your posture.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful for your posture. Yes. And you could also use it for getting up and walking around too. It could be both. But that's wonderful for your posture. That's a great, instead of trying to remember a cue. Thank you. I'm going to add that to my tips. That's good. Also, to prevent neck and shoulder pain, it can be hard to do, but if you're prone to neck and shoulder pain, you maybe already have it, or you have had an injury, just watch out for lifting heavy objects. And if you already have some neck or shoulder pain, you want to really limit how much weight you're lifting. If it's really active and you've got some major pain going on, neck, shoulder, then really try to limit whatever you're lifting to 1 or 2 pounds, because until you heal and feel better, because otherwise you're going to keep re-aggravating, re-injuring yourself. Other way to manage neck and shoulder pain is to manage stress. We carry a lot of stress in our neck and shoulders. Throughout the day, and I know I'm guilty of this too, we can just be carrying our stress. We just have our shoulders up and we don't realize how much. And that is causing chronic tension. As soon as those shoulders come up, those muscles are contracting. And if they stay in that contracted position, then that's what can cause pain, because they don't have a chance to relax and let go. In my yoga classes I teach, as we're doing our poses, I'm reminding my yoga students to release and relax their shoulders. And even if you're reaching overhead, you can still bring your arms down, your shoulders down. And it's just amazing how often we raise those shoulders up. So maybe we can use that app for, or just remember that good posture is also keeping the shoulders down. And managing your stress, you can try whatever works for you, mindful meditation or yoga, or really anything that's enjoyable for you, listening to music, being out with friends, taking a walk in nature, deep breathing, whatever is good for you to manage your stress, to help you just let go, because that can just help bring everything down. And then coming back for prevention of neck and shoulder pain, sleeping on your side or back. So now we're going to, and I do wish we had you could see the screens for this, but you will get these slides, because besides the PowerPoint with everything I've talked about, you will also get the slides that describe the exercises I'm going to show you. They have pictures of one of my independent living residents doing the exercises, and then off to the side are step-by-step instructions. So you can see it and you have instructions as well. So we can, if you want to try the exercises with me, you can, but know that you will have it in print as well.
And someone has a question in the box.
Sure.
Could you go over the right posture for sitting, sitting at a desk, sitting to eat, sitting all together?
Sure. Okay. Proper posture. I'm going to do the side view. Let me find Zoom again so I can see. All right. You know, I'm out a little bit. Okay. So for sitting, what you want to think about, you know, relaxing those shoulders, and don't want to get too military about it. We're not trying to bring the shoulders back and get real stiff like that. Just think about lifting your chest. You can see if I just lift my chest a little bit, that just brings my spine, makes my spine a little bit longer. And then with my head, now ideally, and this is actually one of the exercises, and I can show you now nice and close. Now, this is not something you can do all the time, but ideal posture is, I'm going to do what's called a head retraction, keeping your chin parallel to the floor. You're going to slide your head straight back. You're actually making a double chin. And if you see my ear, like right now, my ear is forward in front of my shoulder. And if I come straight back, it's more lined up. So this for me would be better posture. Now, can I stay in this all the time? It's challenging for me because that takes a lot of muscle control, because for a lot of years in my life, I had terrible posture. But that is one of the exercises. So when you're sitting, when you're just naturally sitting, you want your shoulders down, lift your chest, and just think about your chin being level. That is your best posture for sitting. When you're at your desk, well, that's not going to help at all. Well, maybe it will, but at your desk, see, I'm raising my computer so that now I can sit up. That's not helping. Let's see. If I raise if my computer is down, most of us have a computer like this, and then we can't help but be like this. And we get going, we're working, we're in our work, or we're, online with friends or whatever. And then this is what our posture looks like. So if we raise the screen up, if it's a desktop, it's really nice because you can just get the monitor up and the keyboard's here, and it almost forces you into good posture, because if you want to see your screen, then you've got your shoulders down, lift your chest, your eyes are looking ahead at your screen, your keyboard is here. Now, if you have a laptop, I have a laptop, so you have to kind of find that in-between point. So mine, I keep about, my hands are about here, and I see the screen about here. So I have to, if I were not aware of my posture, I would have to have my head like, I would drop my head like this. But I've gotten pretty good at, I'm on my computer here, the screen is here, because it's the folded laptop, and then I'm just looking down with my eyes. So I'm like this on my laptop, keeping my good posture. And then again, with the smartphone, you bring it up in front. And if you're standing, then it's the same idea. You're just trying to stand and walk in your good posture. And if you're leaning forward, whatever you do, it's called postural stability. Then you want to take this good posture, keeping your chin level, keeping your heart lifted, shoulders down, and just bend forward like this, as opposed to slumping down like this. So if I'm going to go pick something up, like here's something over here, especially if it's kind of heavy, then if I go to pick something up like this, then we tend to come up like this. And right away, the shoulders are coming up. That's putting a lot of strain on my shoulders. My neck is crunching up. But if I keep my good posture and I just do this, you can see a little bit better, and I start coming forward in my good posture, and I bend my knees, coming down like I'm going to sit in a chair, and now I come up like this. So I still have my good posture. I haven't even dropped my head. And then I come up, and you want to come, and when you start picking something up, you want to get it close to as close to your body as you can. And then you come up like that. It can really save your neck and your shoulders. And it's just keeping your good posture all the way around. Any other questions before we go on to?
There was one more question.
Okay.
It's a little off topic, but I think you could probably address it quickly. Any advice for arthritis pain that seems to come and go specifically in weather? Will exercise help? And I know you can answer that.
Yeah, I do give seminars on managing arthritis with exercise. And yes, I actually get that in my joints. I have arthritic joints, and it comes and goes with weather, and exercise does help. There's a phrase called motion is lotion. And when you move, it really does help, because with arthritis, what happens is there's less synovial fluid, which is like the WD-40 that for your joints. It's for lubricating your joints, and you just don't have as much. And a lot of times you just don't have any in there. But when you move, at least if it's, your fingers, or if you do have arthritis in your neck, you can do some slow head turns or head rolls or shoulders or any place you have it, just slowly, not too fast, but at least 10 to 12 times, just get things moving, and generally you'll feel a little bit better. Now, if it's severe arthritis and it's bone on bone, not always, but try it. And, if wherever you're feeling it, I get that in my fingers, and it's like, sometimes it's like, ugh, you don't want to because it hurts. And in the old days, it was like, oh no, we don't do that. Arthritis, what do? You just stay still, don't do anything. But that actually makes arthritis worse. Actually, lack of exercise is a risk factor for developing arthritis. So motion is lotion. Try moving, just gentle movements of wherever, whatever joint it is, just try to move it around, just nice and easy, and see if that helps. Good question. Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah, there is one.
Sure.
Sleeping on your back because of CPAP use, any way around neck tightness with this?
Yes, that's a perfect segue, because I'm about to go into pillows. So there are different kinds of pillows. There's you may be familiar with just the round, the cylindrical cervical pillow. I have other pillows here, but I can kind of make one and roll one up. You don't want to just roll one up because that's going to be too big, but a cervical pillow is basically a round pillow, and then you would put it under your neck. This is way too big. But if you need to use a CPAP, you could either use that. It's usually a smaller, but they're what, maybe about 5 inches or so in diameter, but some of them have like the little beans or something in them, so they're more adjustable. Some of them are more firm, so you'd want to kind of play with it. But if you have to sleep on your back because of CPAP, the important thing is that you support that natural curve in the back of your neck. Because if I'm lying on my back, then, and I don't have that curve supported, then it's falling into space. And especially if I have neck problems, that's going to exacerbate them. So you want some support there. The other thing you can use, and you can get these on the net, I haven't seen them in the stores, It's what I use for my neck because I sleep on my side, but then I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm on my back. I don't know if this is going to show up very well, but it's a pillow for side and back sleepers. And it's got this little depression in here, and it's actually wider on the side, so you can sleep, you know, you got more room to sleep on your side. But then it's pretty cool because it's narrow here for smaller people, because I'm short, I've got smaller distance here, and it's longer, it's wider here for taller people who would have a longer neck, so that if you start off on your side, then you may roll onto your back. And if you roll onto your back, you've got that, that cervical support here, but then your head is dropping into that little cutout there. And it's really comfortable. I'll tell you that, it's really nice. And this is kind of a medium firmness, which I like. I did have a doctor tell me, this was my ortho doc when I first was having issues long ago, that medium firm to firm are better. And it is true in general, because especially if you have neck problems, and when because it's the same idea as if your pillow is too thin, you need to be able to support your neck. So I want to talk about some pillows here. I have some, I'm going to give a little demonstration. Oh, let me take my badge off. I'm going to go get on that table. That's my pen bed over there. And I've got some different size pillows just so I can demonstrate, because it really is important to have the right size. And through time, I found that it's better to demonstrate live, because not everybody gets it. But this is a very sturdy table. So this is a thin pillow. So if you have a pillow that's too small, and you're going to get on this pillow that's too small, ugh, I already don't like this, but I won't do it for very long. What happens is you automatically have to scrunch your shoulder up because you don't have enough room. There's not enough room between my head and the bed here. So I'm going to, if I could just magically make this pillow disappear while keeping my head in place, then this is what it would look like. So this is, I'm going to relax onto this pillow. And now I'm going to just take this away. This is where my head is. And now you can see this position of my head. It's tipped down. My shoulder is crunched up. And this position, night after night after night, can actually cause shoulder pain. And if you have a neck pain, and if you have neck and shoulder pain, well, I know I've had a lot of people tell me, well, if I sleep on my side, it really hurts my neck, or it really hurts my shoulder. And then I talked to them about getting a bigger pillow, and that's firm, and then lo and behold, they feel better. So now if you get one, I think this is the one that's pretty decent. Then this one, yeah, now I'm level. Now my shoulder can stay in neutral position. My neck is level. I don't feel any discomfort in my shoulder. If I take this away, you can see I'm in neutral position. So that's the recommended one. And then of course, if you've got a pillow that's too big, you know, or you're used to two pillows, or it's just too big, you can see right away what this is doing to my neck. So now I'm too stretched on this side's all cramped up, and sleeping like this shoulder has to come up. Now I'm all just getting knotted up here. So I take the pillows away, and this is how my sleeping position would be all night long. So that's what happens when you have pillows. And same thing, if you're on your back and you've got any of these pillows, that's going to be too much. If you are on your back and you don't have a cervical, well, even it'd be better to have a cervical pillow if you're only a back sleeper and you have neck issues, then you should get a cervical pillow of some sort. Any questions on my pillow demo?
Is there a specific name of a pillow that's recommended?
This one I was looking, it doesn't have the tag anymore. This one, I think it was called a D something or Core, C-O-R-E or D. I'll look it up. This one is I got about a year ago. I can't remember the name of it. But if you look up online for cervical pillow, and then usually if you go to a medical supply place, then, or some more of a medical one, then it's going to be a good one, or, a trusted site. I did just see a question about pillows for CPAP users. That's a tricky one. You want to still have that same support. You want to have, your neck in neutral position when you're on your side, but you still want to be able to, not be pressing against the oxygen. So as far as I know, there aren't specific pillows for that. Not that I have seen. Good question. All right, well, moving along. I know we started late. I don't want to go too far past. We're not going to go too fast. So.
I'm sorry, there is one more question. Okay. Can you tell the name of the first pillow that has the hole?
It's called a Core pillow. You can find it on Amazon. I just did.
Well, thank you, Karen. My new administrative assistant. Yeah, the Core pillow, C-O-R-E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get the different firmness.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's good. And they're good for side and back sleepers. And I mean, both, because then it's got that, option. If you start off on the side and then end up on your back like I do. The other thing you can do if you want to make sure you don't go onto your back, you can always put bolsters on either side of you. I know some people who do that just so that they will not roll over. But if you don't want to be hemmed in bed, then you can do this. So,
do you have any thoughts on stomach sleeping?
It's not good. I mean, it's not my thoughts. It's well researched. It's very hard on the neck, the shoulders, and the low back. It is not recommended by anybody in the medical position. So if you can avoid it, then try. I know it's hard to break a habit. I was working with one of my clients who's 86, and she finally got herself to the way she transitioned out of sleeping on her stomach was to put bolsters. She did take great big bolsters, and she was sleeping on her side, and she had to put one alongside her back and in front, so she would not roll onto her stomach. And eventually that worked, and she doesn't sleep on her stomach anymore. And she did report that her back doesn't hurt anymore. So, because it's just really hard on neck, shoulders, and back. So I'm sorry, whoever are the stomach sleepers out there, I don't have better news for you. Any other questions before we get to the exercises? No, we're good? All right, I see some head nodding. Okay. So, well, the very first one, the first three, we're not going to use our trusty resistance band quite yet. If you want to try these with me, you can. We've got our little, you'll see this when you get your slides. Before you begin, use a sturdy chair with good back support. Wear good supportive shoes. Some of these will be standing. And once you start, sit or stand in your good posture and just really listen to your body. I'm going to talk about this as we go through, but especially if you're having neck or shoulder pain, you have to be very careful. And I'll talk about this with each exercise. Take your time and remember to breathe. There's a tendency to hold our breath as we go along. Okay, so now I'm going to switch out and go sit in. Let's see. I'm going to bring this chair over here. So the first exercise, you can try this with me if you'd like, or just watch. We're just kind of a warm up, and it's really nice to loosen up the neck and shoulders, get some blood circulating. They're just shoulder rolls. We're going to do them from front to back. And the reason for that is it helps with posture. Now, let's talk about pain before we do these. Just watch one time because I want to talk about pain. The shoulder roll, you're going to come up and roll back and come down. But if you have neck and shoulder pain and you start coming up and somewhere along the way, maybe you come up to here and, oh my goodness, that hurts. Then go back down and only come up just below that pain. So if this is painful, only come up to here and then do little shoulder rolls. You can still come up and you can still go back and you can still go down, but keep them small. Not so we never work into the pain, whichever exercise we're doing. Because if you do that, you're just going to exacerbate whatever is going on there. You're going to make that injury worse. We're trying to go the other way and help it and help make it better. So we're going to start in your best posture. Heart is lifted. Head, chin is level, eyes looking forward. We're going to just do maybe about 5 shoulder rolls, coming up as high as you're comfortable, rolling back, pressing down if that's comfortable, and coming up. This should just feel good. Just gently. This is something you can do sitting at your desk. You can do it if you're watching TV. Just get some blood circulating. And when you press down, it can strengthen the lower part of your trapezius muscles. We have upper trapezius and lower. You want to strengthen those lower ones by pressing. Okay. So those are our shoulder rolls. Now we're going to do a cross body shoulder stretch. Just watch for a moment because I want to talk about how to do this and make sure you're not in pain. I'm going to do mirror image. So I'm going to ask you to use your right arm, but it's my left. So the cross body stretch, you can do it with or without holding your arm and pulling. So we're just going to be reaching across like this, but you want to keep your good posture. Your heart is lifted and your shoulder is down. So now you can try it. Just try reaching your right arm across. And maybe you feel a little bit of a stretch right here. If you do, just stay here. 15, 20, 30 seconds. If you feel like, I don't really feel very much, you can try reaching a little bit more. We're not twisting, we're just reaching. If you still feel like I could use a little bit more of a stretch, then you're going to take your left hand, bring it on the outside over here in your upper arm, and just pull just a little bit. Kind of cupping your elbow, just pulling across. Watch out, you're not coming up. And just pull across till you feel a little bit more stretch. And hold here. This hand can relax. Now stretching should just feel good. When you stretch, you're just going to a point where you feel a comfortable pull. If it feels like it's uncomfortable or painful, That's your body saying, oh, you've gone too far. And release. We better do the other side. I don't like being uneven and it's not good for us anyway. So try reaching across with your left arm. You might have one side that's more flexible than the other. If that's not enough, you can try gently pulling that arm across. Keep breathing. Make sure you're not twisting. Take some nice deep breaths, relax a bit. So we hold stretches anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds. The longer, the better. But some people don't like to sit still too long. So. Okay, good. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to strengthen our abdominal muscles. Like, wait a minute, I thought we were doing neck and shoulder. Well, we are, but we're going to strengthen the deepest abdominal muscle we have. We have 4 layers of abdominal muscles. We're going to strengthen the deepest muscle called the transverse abdominis. It runs across this way and it's 4 layers down. And its function, if you've heard of core abdominal strength, that's the one. And when it is strong, it helps improve overall strength and it is key for supporting good posture. And as we know, good posture is really important for supporting your neck and your shoulders. So what we're going to do, you can stay facing me. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. This is called an abdominal sit back. You're going to scoot about halfway forward in your chair. You want a little bit of room between your back and the back of your chair. To begin, we start in our best posture. You have to keep this posture throughout this exercise. Chest is lifted, shoulders are down. Keep your chin level. Now you're going to draw your abdominals in from your navel on down into your lower abdominals. So you're pulling them in. The trick is you're pulling them in and you have to keep them drawn in while you breathe. So, ooh, how do you do that? Well, you have to do just little shallow chest breathing. We're not looking for deep breaths here. You just breathe like right up in here. So I'm holding in here and I'm breathing. So what you can do is, first of all, just practice keeping your abdominals drawn in and breathing. If you feel like, okay, you've got that under control, then you keep your chest lifted, abdominals drawn in, and you start leaning back just until you feel your abdominals working a little bit more. Keep breathing, keep the abdominals in, keep your chest lifted. If you feel anything going on in your low back, you've got to sit back up immediately and just practice sitting up. Let's come back up. So before I go on, I want to see if anybody has any questions on that, because that one is really important to do correctly. Any questions, comments? Everybody okay? Okay. You really have to keep those abdominals in and keep that chest lifted, because what can happen, well, the body likes to, when one muscle group is working, the other muscle groups like to try to help out. So when we start going back here, the most common thing besides letting go, it's easy to focus on, okay, keep the abdominals in. But what starts happening is we start coming in like this. The chest starts coming in. But that makes it much easier here. So you gotta keep that chest lifted. What that's doing, it's physics, is keeping a longer lever. So you've got this nice long lever. So the load is right here, the workload, and you're going to get much more work right there. So, okay, so that's an abdominal sit back. So now it is time to pick up your resistance band. Now, actually, I don't know if you're going to be able to do these with me, because The next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, the ones, 4 out of 5 of these exercises using the resistance band, you need to use the doorway. And I'll show you, they have to actually put them in a doorway. So I'm not sure you'll be able to do that and see me. So I will show you what to do. And remember, you will get the PowerPoint slides with pictures of what to do, and they're pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to do, and you can do this now and just be ready for when you do it. You're going to get back so you can see this. You're going to just take one end. So I've got maybe 8 or 10 inches hanging, and you're going to fold that over and make a very loose knot. Take that loop and just a very loose knot. Don't pull tight because you want to be able to take that out at some point. Because this, you're going to open the door and stick that through and then close the door so that knot is on the other side, and then you're going to be able to use this to exercise. Okay, I see you nodding. So that's what we're going to do. So I see somebody heading to the door. Okay, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to go to the door here. And I'm going to wheel around this. I'm going to just bring my computer closer because I have to. They've got a door over here, and I want you to be able to see. Okay. So there's my door. That should work pretty well. Okay. So the next one we're going to do. Oh, come on, really? He's telling me my battery is running low. I'm sorry. So you will be able to do this one. You could do these next two while seated. And I can show you that. I think this will work. I can plug this in. Because I would like you to be able to try. So see the one minute, do this.
Hey, Terry, it would be helpful if you, whenever you want to talk, if you actually point your face toward the computer, it'll pick up your voice better.
Yeah, sorry, I was plugging my computer in. Now we will do this. I will do that. Thank you. Okay. So what we're going to do, and I will keep my face pointed. Good tip. So if you're doing this, you're going to take this knot and you're going to put it on the outside of your door. And then you're going to, before you close the door, you need to line up your arm so that your upper arm is by your side and you've got a 90-degree angle in your elbow, basically so your forearm is parallel to the floor. And then that's where you want the band to be coming out from the door. And then you shut the door on it, give it a tug to make sure it's really tight. So the first exercise we're going to do, I'm going to show this to you standing, and then you're going to be able to do it seated as well. But it is a little bit better standing because you have a little bit more control. Then I'm going to show you why I have this dish towel in a moment. You're going to roll this up in your arm. This is the external shoulder rotation. This is really good for rotator cuff. It's the best way to strengthen your rotator cuff, to prevent rotator cuff injuries. And if you already have a mild injury, then this can go a long way to rehabilitating you. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to put your arm by your side and you're gonna start pulling out. But if you start pulling out to the side and you feel pain, then just like on those shoulder rolls, you would come back in and you come out again, but go behind the pain. So you're not going out as far as the pain. So if I feel pain here, I'm gonna only go this far. So I would do just little tiny motions. If I can go out this far and not feel any pain, fine. So what's important to know is there's no right or wrong way to do this exercise. It's whatever you can do without pain. So if somewhere along this way you feel pain, you have to stop short of it and only go that far. Because what will happen over time, what usually I should say happens over time, is you become stronger and stronger and you start to heal in that shorter range of motion. And then you'll find that, oh, hey, I can go a little farther. And then give it some more time. We're talking weeks. And then maybe I can go a little farther. Sometimes maybe not, but a lot of times you can find that with healing and practice with the exercise, you can eventually increase the range of motion. So why do I have this rolled up towel? Well, because I'm going to roll it up because proper form for this is to keep your elbow by your side as you open your arm out. But again, the stronger muscles, your deltoids, your shoulder muscles in particular want to help. And they're going to start taking you out like this. I see this all the time. And that can actually exacerbate shoulder pain. So I strongly suggest you roll up a towel. You can roll up a paper towel or a dishcloth, anything. You put it under your arm, your upper arm, take it, but keep it by your side, and then come out and in. Because you have to keep it under your arm. Because if you start raising that elbow, you're going to drop it. You're going to say, oops, I did it in the wrong form. Okay? So let me grab my other stretchy band. I'm going to leave that in the door. And I'll show you how you can do this. Wait a minute. I'll show you how you can do this seated. The wrong chair, but you'll get the idea. Okay, you can hold this. It's not my rolling chair, forgive me. Okay, you can hold, if you roll this up so that each arm, it gets a little trickier this way. That's why I like the door, but you want each arm to be 90-degree angle with your forearm parallel to the floor. And then when your arms are out in front, you don't want any tension. So you might just need to gather up a little bit of the band in your hand. Now, you're going to keep one arm stable. So I'm going to keep my left arm, your right, stable. Now, my right arm, your left, stable. And then you're going to go out to your right. But keep your elbow in. I already see one elbow going out like this. Keep your elbow glued in. If you took super glue and stuck it on your elbow, you can't move it. And then you go out from there. That's it. Just out and in. And if it's too hard, then release your hand and give yourself some more slack and just, it should be a pretty easy pull for you. Not very much at all. And you want to go slowly here. Don't go too fast because you're going to get much more benefit. If you go too fast, then you're just using momentum and not your muscles. And we're just doing 8 or 10 of these, and then you can stop and then try the other side. Nice and easy. Now I can't see everybody because I know we have a lot more people, but the few I can see, it looks good. See, the one thing about doing this live is I can see everybody, but so you've got your elbow in. The main thing is, if you, like you saw, if you put a rolled up towel or something under your arm, then if you let go of it, then you know that you've lost that form. So those are your external shoulder rotations. Now we're going to do internal shoulder rotations, but you can't do these seated. You do need the door. So I'm going to go back to the door. So for the internal rotations, it's the opposite. The external, we went out. The internal, we're going to come in across our bodies. So it's basically the same idea. I've got the 90-degree angle. My forearm is parallel to the floor. I'm coming straight out in front, and now I'm going to come across in front of my body, as opposed to going out. So I'm just going in and out slowly. Now, usually this one, most people don't find any discomfort or pain. If you're going to experience any discomfort or pain, it's going to be when you're going out. That's usually, if you have rotator cuff issues, you're going to feel it going out. But this is important to do this one as well, because we're strengthening the rotator cuff in all directions. So this is called your internal shoulder rotation. Now the next one we're going to do is called a single lat row. Your lats, your latissimus dorsi muscles, are big muscles in your upper back. We're going to do one at a time because we need to isolate and just be sure we really are tuning in to what's going on with each shoulder. So now you be facing your strap or band. I'm going to wrap this around a couple times. This would be your right arm, my left. And then you're going to step forward with the opposite foot just for a little bit of balance that keeps you from rocking back and forth. Now with just a little bit of tension here, you're going to draw straight back. And if you notice, let me do this, but it's not going to help much. You're trying to keep your arm, your lower arm, going right along your waist or your belt line. Because what happens a lot is you start coming up like this or like this, because your shoulders and your biceps are really trying to help out. So you have to come straight back, just like this. And this is another place where you may, if you're having some shoulder issues, you may go back and say, oh, I feel a little something going on. So you back off, and then maybe you're just doing little baby lat rows, okay? Then we're going to turn around, we're going to do the opposite. So you do both sides, of course. We would do this. Of course, you'd be pulling back, doing the same arm, the other arm. Then we're going to do the shoulder extension. So now I'm going to press forward. It's the opposite of what we just did. Same lineup. It's the exact same for the rotations, the lat row, and the extension. So it makes it pretty easy to remember how to set this up for your body. You start off upper arm straight, 90 degrees. This lower arm is parallel to the floor, and you want to punch forward straight out and come back. So you're coming right out and in, right along your waistline or your belt line. And nice and easy like that. Slow. And when you go out and in, you want to just go to a soft elbow as opposed to locking out. And keep those shoulders down in your best posture. And you're going to do 10 to 15 of those. That's your single shoulder extension. Now we're going to get back to the chair. We're going to do something called the reverse fly. This is with the stretchy band.
I have a quick question while you're transitioning this up. The question is, when I move my head and neck, I hear loud cracks. What does it tell me? Neck, shoulders, both? What should I do?
Oh, okay. I do too. That's normal. That hopefully it's not causing you pain. That is from the disc degeneration, the degenerative disc disease, just a little breakdown of little bits of your disc. And you can hear that cracking because our ears are right there. Generally, it's benign. If you feel a lot of pain when you do that, check with your doctor. You want to just make sure everything's okay. But in general, that's part of the aging process and it's okay. Good
Also, I
question.
want to remind people that we will be, I know a few people are jumping off because of time, but remind people we will be sending out a recording of this as well as the exercises and slide presentation.
Right, and we're almost finished, few more minutes. So the next one, we're gonna do something called the reverse fly. We're gonna do it without the band first. Put the arms out like this. Sitting in your best posture, arms are below shoulder level, and then you're gonna start taking them, they're just a little bit below shoulder level so you can keep your shoulders down. And then go back as far as you're comfortable, but not like this. You're still at shoulder level. And if you feel any discomfort, again, stop. But going back, if you feel like that's going to be okay, then you try the band. But you have to put a lot of slack in that band because once you start pulling it back, you're going to feel it. And I don't want you to overdo it. So cut yourself some slack. Okay, here we go. Start taking it out. Keep those shoulders down and then start bringing it back. And then you're going to come back in. And now you can kind of play with that, the tension. You want a little bit of tension, but not too much. So what we're doing here is strengthening the backs of the shoulders, called the rear deltoids. We're just going to do about 5 of these. I don't want to overdo it. Palms are facing down. Watch out for those shoulders. They might start creeping up on you. Keep them down. Keep breathing. Keep sitting up straight. If you're getting tired, stop. That's always a rule of thumb. And stop there. Okay, now we're going to get going on the neck. Talked about those head retractions. We did it briefly. We're just going to do a quick review. I'm going to face sideways. So you're sitting up tall in your best posture. Chin is level. And you're going to try to make a double chin. So if I'm looking at you and somebody said, make a double chin, you take your head straight back and make that beautiful double chin. So that's what you're trying to do. So sideways, what you want to watch out for is you want to avoid coming up like this. We're keeping the chin level and coming straight back. And then release. And straight back. And release. We're going to do 5 of these. This is the exercise. And back. And release. Make sure your shoulders are still down. And come back. And release. And one more time. And release. Now over time, and you'll see this on the handout that you're going to get, there are progressions. All of these have progressions that eventually you'll progress to where you're going to hold for about 5 counts. But in the beginning, you just need to get used to that motion. And you can look in the mirror and see if you're doing that. You may not have a lot of motion in the beginning. I didn't. It took a lot of practice just to find those muscles, just to get that motion. It's okay if it's a little awkward in the beginning. Now we're going to just sit up tall. You can have your hands in your lap, down by your side. We're going to do some head turns, just very simple and gentle. Shoulders are down. You're going to gently turn your head, look over one shoulder, and then you pause. And just like everything else, only go to a point where it's comfortable. If you turn your head and it's painful, back off until it's not painful anymore. Then we're going to come back. And then we're going to go to the other side. And you want to go slowly when you go in and out of this so you don't get dizzy. And pause, get that gentle stretch, breathe. Shoulders are down. Come back to center. Now, normally we would hold those longer, but we are running out of time. So those are your head turns. Now, head tilts. Keep your shoulders down. You're going to lower your right ear towards your right shoulder and keep both shoulders down. There's a tendency for that left shoulder to start coming up. Keep it down. And also make sure you're still sitting up tall. There's also a tendency to do leaning tower. So it's just a small little stretch. We're trying to stretch here on the left side of your neck. Come back up. Other side, shoulders stay down. You may notice a difference from one side to the other. That's okay, just notice. And go easy. Remember, this should be comfortable. And come back up. Then the very last stretch, the very last thing we're going to do is seated posture stretch. Just bring your arms out and then reach back and lean forward just enough so you can reach your arms back. Shoulders are down. Now, start reaching back and squeezing your shoulder blades toward each other. Breathe deeply. So what we're doing here is we're stretching through the chest and the front of the shoulders, and we're strengthening the upper back, which helps support good posture. And release. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. And I thank you so much for coming. And I do apologize for the big snafu in the beginning. I really don't know what happened, but we'll hopefully get that worked out for next time.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Terry.
My
Lots of
pleasure.
notes here in the chat telling you thank you. We really appreciate it. We will be emailing the slides and the exercises to everyone. Thanks for hanging in there with us, everyone.
Yeah.
And we
really,
look forward
thank
to having you come back and join us again. Also, if you want to be and you're not on our email list to let you know when we have webinars and healthy living classes coming up, please email me at tdavis, and I'll put it in the chat to everybody, tdavis@bgf.org, tdavis@bgf.org, and I will get you added to our email list so that you can know everything that's happening at Brook Grove. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, everybody. And I'm just so excited that, you know, when I found out that people were joining us from all around the world, like, woo, Zoom is amazing. And all over
It
the
is.
US, it's just, it's so wonderful. And I hope, I think I'll let Tony know when she sends out the email, she can include my email address and my contact information, because if you have any questions, particularly when you're looking at the exercises, we can, you know, I can get in touch with you and we can go over those. I've done a lot of that kind of thing over the phone or through email. So, you know, wherever you are in the world, I want to help. So.
Okay, great. We've also added Terry Daniels' email to the chat if you want to write it from there, but I will include it in my email as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Stay well. Bye-bye.
You too.